Today is March 26th, and it's been 53 days since Miss Nancy Guthrie disappeared. Hi, I'm JT, and this is my corner. And anyone that's been following me knows that I've been very, very hard on the Guthrie family. And Savannah came out today with an interview on the Today Show, and it was pretty heart-wrenching. She said a lot of things. She came out with some few clues, and so I felt really bad for her. But let me tell you what I think about her. I think that she's very naive. She's probably, been guarded most of her life, and she has a tendency to be a little, you know, naive and younger thinking than her other siblings. If you watch her on the Today Show, she's all la 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 la, happy happy joy joy, and this has really hit her hard. And I mean, I don't blame her. It's her mother, and her mother's missing. And when she said that she was ripped out of her bed with, in her pajamas with no shoes and all her items left behind, I kind of really felt bad for her. And during the whole interview, she teared up and cried quite a lot. And Hoda, that's another story. We're going to deal with that in a minute. But so she genuinely is clueless and naive. And so I feel like maybe I owe her a little bit of an apology because I have been really hard on her when she didn't come out with, the ransom and all that. But so I'm going to just address a few things. I'm sure that anyone that's been watching the Nancy Guthrie, disappearance and the Guthrie family, coming out and speaking and the interview and everything, probably everything. But I just want to touch on a couple things because of this interview that that Savannah did. So she said that the back doors were propped open. Doors propped open. As if, she thought at first that maybe, that 911 came in with a stretcher and took her mom out. But I find that interesting. I'm sorry, I had to pause for a minute because I have people at the end of my yard in the park just, being curious as to what I'm doing and who I'm talking to. But anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, the back doors were propped open. It's very strange, but I'm not gonna even go there. There's blood at the front door, but the back doors are propped open. So I don't know what happened to Nancy, but some of the curious things that still bug me are: the garage door opened for 2 minutes. Who came and went through that garage door? And I heard an interview where Tommaso said that, or maybe it was Savannah, said that they had brought her home and dropped her off at the front door and watched her walk in. So could that blood that's at the front door be when Nancy was, messing with the key? Or maybe she bumped her hand as she was going in, because it's also inside of the front door. It's not in her bedroom, not in her living room. So maybe when she got out of the car, she kind of bruised herself and she grabbed her arm until she could, go doctor it up or put a Band-Aid on, because she was on blood thinners. So that's number one. Number two, I don't know if Savannah meant to say it like this, but during her interview, she said that she had a fun day out with her children and that she had given her husband a gift for a trip, some kind of a camping trip or hunting trip. And so she came back with her kids after a fun day, and her husband came home about the same time, and the kids were running around, and she got a phone call from her sister saying that her mother is missing. So, did she get a phone call on Saturday night? Or, I don't know, there's kind of a question there for me also, which also brings up the fact that online there was a police report saying that, you know, Nancy was missing at 7 o'clock the night before, Saturday night. So that sits raw with me. I don't know. I'm kind of a suspicious person anyway. And then, like I said, I felt so bad for Savannah doing this interview. But I feel like there were times when she was genuinely crying, and there were times when it was all for show. And with Hoda and her microphone being left open, it was a double show. You know, it was like Savannah broke down and Hoda was, you know, wiping fake tears. And so, please don't judge me too harshly, but there's still something very strange there. Something. And maybe, you know, Savannah being that naive doesn't know anything. However, with her brother immediately saying yet that her mother was abducted for ransom, you know, like his gut feeling, because he was in the military and he has done some intelligence, you know, things, that's where he went directly. But to blame her, I mean, she broke down. She was like, I can't believe that it would be because of me. You know, he could have been a little, maybe he just doesn't have any bedside manner. And he was like, you know, I'm your brother. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. And yeah, it's your fault. That was pretty harsh. Anyway, and then that makes me wonder if maybe Nancy was holding maybe like a thumb drive or some information in her safe for Savannah, and maybe the intruders were coming after that. So here we are, and with nobody I mean, a few people could have become rich by accepting the ransom money, and they didn't even come forward. Yes, there were 2 letters, ransom notes, that Savannah thinks were real. But then if they were real, why didn't she just pay them immediately? And the FBI could have tracked that money. She could have said, here's the money, give me my mom. And then the FBI could have just, you know, tracked the money or traced the money or did something. So I'm really looking forward to her next interview. I think it's Friday night at 9 o'clock, tomorrow night on Dateline. But this has been the longest dragged out mystery ever. And honest to God, she's not my mother, and I still have my whodunit in the back of my mind, but you know, it shouldn't be this long. It really shouldn't. So the FBI is slacking. Nanos is out of the picture. He's a loser. He's going to lose his job, and he was a worthless piece of garbage. And Savannah's clueless. Annie and Tommaso, I still have questions in my mind about their net worth. And let me just address that real quick. So Annie was working for a company, supposedly, and she made like $28,000-$30,000 a year. The last year that she worked, she only made $13,000. So how did they afford a $6.5 million home? And Tommaso is just a teacher. So what if, and not only that, okay, but Miss Nancy, who's 84, refinanced her home 3 times. 3 times. Why does a woman do that when she apparently has it paid off, has income coming in from Social Security, and has, comfortable living? Why would she refinance her home 3 times? So I don't want to point fingers, but I sure will. So I'm waiting for Friday evening to find out what's going on. And I'm sorry to make this so long, but check out Savannah's interview with Huda, and you tell me what you think. All right, see you later.